Good morning and welcome to the Oasis Center for Spiritual Living, where we come together as one, providing spiritual tools for daily living. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Reverend Tucker. I'm the senior minister here at the Oasis. And for those of you who've been so patient in the last 3 weeks as we've done reruns, thank you for that. My sister passed away almost 4 weeks ago, so it's been tough. So thank you for your patience. And let's see, I like to introduce my team, or the team that God has provided me. God is so good to me. The first one, obviously, is Tina. Oz has been with me the longest. Let's start with Oz today. He is my partner in crime, my first baby practitioner, meaning that he took all of his training with me, except for, I think, one class at Mile High. And was my board president for, a lot of years. And then he moved off to Florida, and we lost him for a bit just because we're trying to do it in a facility. And after COVID, we decided to do this online live. And so now we have Oz back with us. I'm so happy. He is the practitioner of the day, so he prays us in and prays us out. And at the end, he's going to be available for what we call our 1-minute miracle. And I'll talk a bit about that later. But thank you, Oz, for being here. We love you so much. All right. And then there's Tina. Tina actually has been a singer in our church since 2000. Long time. Can you believe it's 2023 already?
No.
23 years you've been singing for us. This is Alberta Giuffre, better known as Tina, as far as I'm concerned. I think she likes it when we call her Albertina, but
Well, that's my professional name for other stuff, but that's fine. First of
I
all, you call me Alberta. I think
did I
that's
really? I'm sorry. My brain is still
okay.
not functioning on all cylinders.
It's
Albertina, I
fine
know that very well.
because we never use it anyway. Hardly.
Oh my goodness. You'll always be Tina to me.
Yeah.
Tina is also a practitioner, a licensed practitioner, and one that I trained. So we're so blessed to have you singing with us for 23 years. Thank you for being here. We love you.
You're welcome.
And then we have where is she? There she is. My faithful assistant, Faith, who's really been my assistant since the day she was born. She used to help her dad at the sound booth until she was able to crawl, and then pretty soon she made her way up to the pulpit and sat on the pulpit while I did announcements, and then grew up like 6 blocks from my house. But 5 or 6 years ago, I don't know, it's almost 6 years, isn't it?
Almost 6 years.
Huh?
We're almost at 6 years in June.
In June, wow.
Yeah.
She became my official assistant, both in my other business and this one here. So we're so blessed to have you. She also is our soloist most Sundays when Tina isn't here. So thank you for all that you do. I could not do this without you because I can't multitask and talk. So I was not looking for. She delayed her trip to Washington to help me with the memorial, and I really appreciate that because she's like my other brain or something. I don't know, my other hands and feet and everything else. So thank you so much for delaying your trip to Washington, and we're glad you're back. I was kind of thinking, oh gosh, I hope she's on today because I couldn't do this without her. So thank you. We love you. All right. And then I always like to introduce our adjunct music team that we have. Reverend Fairy Lane Silver and Karen Drucker. They don't appear on camera, but they have provided us with music so that we can do music on Sunday mornings, and I really appreciate that. So the topic today is First I Plant a Seed. We did the very first sermon ever as a replay last week, and it kind of cut out before we had too much information. So I'm continuing that today, where I'm going to talk about our form of prayer as part of how we resurrect our spiritual practice. And if you're here, please say hi, hello, good morning, however you like. If you're watching this later, just say hi, drop a line, let me know that you were here. We have a watch party button, which is a great way to invite your friends to see what kind of service they can expect on Sunday. So click on that watch party button and invite all your friends. And it's also a great way for you to answer questions they might have because you can't bother anybody. You can talk back and forth. So take advantage of that. I'd like you to close your eyes if that feels comfortable. Allow the service to uplift and inspire you as we move into our centering song.
Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can feel the rush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place. Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can feel the rush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place.
Presence of God, always right now, always right here, for God is ever present. God is in all things, as all things, encompassing all potentialities. And I know that God right now is right here with me and right there wherever you are, whenever you are, for God is infinite, God is eternal. I know its presence uplifts and enfolds us and clears and creates the way that we walk into. And it enables us to walk, and it enables us to talk, and the myriad other things, all a miracle of God continuously acting in all places at all times. I sit back and know that this is a good blessing, and I give thanks because I know that God is always here, always with us. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Oz. I'm not used to having this many people. I have to go down the thing to get them. All right. This next song is that song actually was one that we did at Mile High and at Sacred Circle. Surely the Presence. I love that song. This next song is by Reverend Fairy Elaine Silver and is one that she wrote during her practitioner training before she became a minister. And it is a really good example of what we teach. So I always invite people to learn the words if you don't know them. And if you do know them, sing it loud and sing it proud because you can't bother anybody, right? We are all one.
We are all one. We are all one. We are all one in it. I hear it and know it, my being. Spirit is all I am seeing. For God is just surrounding me is within me by day and night. And we are all one. We are all one. We are all one in it. Yes, we are all one. We are all one. We are all one in it.
We are, in fact, all one in it. I love that idea that we are connected. Yeah, please say hi, good morning, hello, however you'd like to greet us. Let us know you're here. When I'm in a facility, I can look out and see who's here. But I don't have that luxury here. I get a number. That's all I see is just a number. So I would appreciate it if you'd say hi, hello, good morning. Also, if you're stopping by later, just drop me a line and say hi. Just let me know that you were here. I appreciate knowing everybody that's here. It's hard not having Joey here. If you like something that you hear, whether that's something I say or Tina sings or Oz prays, use that like button, that thumbs up button. If you love something, please send us hearts. We love getting hearts. And if something strikes you as really powerful, by all means, use the wow button. That feedback really helps me to know when I'm on target. So we really appreciate that. So without further ado, please let me introduce Albertina Giuffre, better known as Tina, singing First I Plant a Seed.
First I plant a seed, first I plant a seed in the corner of my mind. It's a seed of love, very special kind. First I plant a seed in the corner of my mind, and I water it with thoughts and loving kindness too. Then I watch it grow and grow and grow and grow. Then I watch it grow in everything I do. First I plant a seed in the corner of my mind. It's a seed of friendship, a very special kind. First I plant a seed in the corner of my mind, and I water it with thoughts of friends so dear and true. Then I watch it grow and grow and grow and grow. Then I watch it grow into all my friends like you. First I plant a seed in the corner of my mind. It's a seed of peace, a very special kind. First I plant a seed in the corner of my mind. Then I water it with thoughts of peace for everyone. Then I watch it grow and grow and grow and grow for everyone. Peace for everyone. Everyone in the sun.
Thank you so much, Tina. That sounded so good. I don't even know where that song came from. That's why we don't have like a recording or anything to give you. It's just
such a mystery.
I know. I looked and looked and looked for it. You know, Lynn sang that years ago in the church, and
Hey, we should claim it and try to copyright it. Then we'll find out.
I guess so, right? When Facebook tells us they can't, they muted us. Oh, goodness. Thank you so much, darling. Oh, gosh. Yeah, truly, truly. It's, I never know. I get it from Facebook, they mute us, or I get it when I put it up to YouTube. And YouTube tells me there's a copyright infringement or something like that, but and then I can investigate to see who it is. Maybe we'll see. In the meantime, last week we did the very first sermon we ever did online, which was our Easter sermon, which was about resurrecting our spiritual practices. And I got a little bit of information in about meditation, and then I was starting to talk about our form of prayer, which is called spiritual mind treatment, and it cut off. And so I don't know what happened, but Faith did such a good job the last 3 weeks, just managing everything for me so that I didn't have to think about anything other than preparing for the memorial. So I really appreciate everything that you did, Faith. It was not an easy job trying to pick out sermons and stuff. So because it's spring, I always turn my attention towards growth and, planting seeds. And we talk a lot about like Easter. Next week, we're going to have visioning, but the week after that, we're going to do a metaphysical Passover. And that's kind of where everything tends to go when we hit spring, because I want us to be focused on not only the physical aspects of planting our garden, but also the metaphysical aspects of planting our garden in here, right? And so that's pretty much what I want to talk about today. And I'm going to put up the religious science teaching symbol as part of this because that's really important. This is our symbol that we use in religious science to talk about how creation works. So this is the creative process. First, you have that unbroken unity, that circle with no beginning and no end. And it represents the oneness of all life. Remember, we are all one, right? And so we are connected by it, through it, as it. And it is all contained within the one. And so that's what that circle represents. And then even though you can't really part out God, in order for us to get the point across, to be able to speak about it and be able to have a common ground, so to speak, on how to interpret the information, we have broken it into 3 parts. The top part is the conscious mind. And so in God, that is the part of God that thought us into being, right? On the individual level, that is every thought we have about what we want our life to look like is where that is generated from. Also, that is the place where the seed comes from. When we're talking about planting the garden in our mind, the seed comes from that upper portion. That middle portion, when we're talking about God, is the God stuff. That is the stuff, quantum physics talks about how the universe is made up of the same matter. And that matter lives in that middle section. And we call it God stuff. Quantum physics doesn't deal with the divine at all. It just deals with matter. But if everything is made of the same stuff, if everything is made of matter, then it's reasonable to conclude that we are made of the same stuff, all of us, as well as this desk, as well as the air around us, as well as the animals. Everything is made of the same stuff. So we call it God stuff. And this middle portion is the stuff of God. So when you think about it, when God had an idea about us, it made us from itself. There in that middle portion from the God stuff, right? In the individual, that middle section represents everything that's ever happened to us. It's our subjective mind. So it's kind of like a computer hard drive where everything is stored. And so our experiences are stored there and our reactions to those experiences are stored there. And so in the process of creation, when we have an idea of what we want in our life, we have to deal with that middle section, either bouncing it back because there's some ideas in there that counteract what we're thinking into being, or it happens automatically because we don't even have a conscious thought anymore. It just automatically creates. So that's something to look out for. When we talk about planting the seed in our mind of what we want to create, the soil is that middle portion. So we're planting the seed into the soil and it produces a result at the very bottom. That last portion is the flower or the whatever creation we have thought into being. On the God level, that would be all of us. That would be everything that has ever been created. God had a thought, an idea about what it wanted to create. It created it out of itself, which is that middle section, which is God stuff. It came into being as people or animals or whatever else in that bottom portion. On the individual level, those are our experiences. That bottom spot is what we've thought into being, whether that is conscious or unconscious. All of our experiences live in that bottom section. And the V represents that process of creation from the conscious mind through the subjective mind into form and back again, because you know when you plant a garden that eventually it goes back to the nothingness from which it came when the season is over. And that's what happens in our own mind. We plant a seed, it grows, we water it, we take care of it, it gets into our experience, and then it returns back to the nothingness from which it came. The only constant in this life is God. Everything else is temporary. Our circumstances are temporary. Our relationships are temporary. Everything is temporary. But God is the constant, and that is what we count on. So that's the process of creation. Now, why I'm talking about that is because it makes more sense when you think about our form of prayer, which is spiritual mind treatment. We are not asking God to do something for us. We're not coercing God to do something for us. What we're doing is we're aligning our consciousness with the vibration of God. It's training our mind to be in vibration or be in the same vibration as God is. So if I'm praying peace, then I begin to turn all of my awareness towards thoughts of peace. When I'm praying abundance, for example, I am knowing abundance. I am experiencing abundance on a cellular level as a vibration, as an energy, before I actually experience it in my life. Remember, from the top down, right? So we have to have the conscious thought or the subjective thought about abundance before abundance can show up in our experience. If we're talking about love, it's the same way. We have to have that thought about what we want to create in love. And then it goes through our subjective mind and either bounces back because we don't have a receptivity for it, or it passes through into that bottom part, which is the experience. And the same thing with health. Health works exactly the same way. All of those people who think they go to the gym and it's like willpower that pushes them through, that's great if they can do that. I'm not able to do that. I have to first get it straight in my head. Like there has to be this sync that happens in my head with the vibration of God's divine blueprint before I can ever get to the gym, let alone continue to go to the gym, right? And so it has to be that kind of choice for me. Other people can just push through, and more power to them. I'm glad they can. I can't do that. Anything I've ever tried to do, losing weight, stopping smoking, stopping drinking, all of that came from within first. And it was just a decision that once I made it, it was done. If I try to force myself, then I battle with it. I struggle with it. And life is not about struggle. Life is not about pain and suffering. Like Ram Dass says, pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. And that's where we need to get to a place of. So when I'm talking about resurrecting our spiritual practice, the first one was community, the second was meditation, and the third was about prayer. And so let me go over all of our, and I think I've got no, I don't have one. Interesting. I used to have this little acronym on here that I could pull up. But we call it, Are You Ready to Receive? And that's because R stands for recognition. U stands for unification. The second, are you ready? Yeah. The second R stands for realization. And then thanksgiving, and then release. Those are the 5 steps of our prayer. So I'm going to go through each one here and talk about it a little bit, because I think it makes a big difference to pray this way, because we're not praying for something, we're praying something, if that makes any sense. When you pray for something, you are praying from a place of lack. I don't have that, so now I need to pray for it. When you pray it, it comes from a place of knowing that it's already there and I'm claiming it for myself. So in the recognition step, what we're doing is we're recognizing that God is simply all there is, all there ever has been, all there ever will be is God. we say because God is, we can't have two powers that oppose each other that are equal, right? So as in terms of God and the devil, or, all of that stuff, we can't really believe that, because if they were equal in power, they would cancel each other out. And if you believe the devil would be more powerful than God, there would be no lightness in the world. And because there is some darkness in the world, we have to understand that that didn't come from God. It came from us, because we have free will. And so we are free to choose whatever experience we want to have. Maybe that's unconsciously sometimes, but there is so much light in the world if we will focus our attention on that. So we start out with the recognition that God is simply all there is, all there ever has been, all there ever will be, and all there is operating right here, right now. When I teach this to my students, I teach it, long paragraph for the recognition step, because getting into that mindset of knowingness of the presence of God is going to take you to the experience you are praying a lot faster. If we don't spend enough time in that recognition step, recognizing that God is all there is, and please understand, God is my word. You can use whatever you want. Universe, Allah, whatever word works for you, Great Spirit, is fine. Either way, it's that connection to something larger than yourself. It is that connection to something that you can count on, something that is universally present. And that's the connection that we're talking about when we do the recognition. I recognize that that is the power in the world. One power, one love, one life, all of that. Then we come to the unification stage. And what we're saying at that point is we are all one, right? So if God is all there is and we're made of God, then we are God, right? Not that we are all of God, but that is who and what we are. And that infinite power, that infinite presence, that love, that infinite love, that unconditional love flows through us, because that's what we're made of, right? So in our connection to that God, whatever you want to call it, the entity that we call God, that I call God, in our unification of that, when we recognize that that is simply who and what we are, and every thought, every action, and every deed is guided and led by a wisdom of the ages that is God flowing through us. When we get to that unification step, again, we're going to do a paragraph on that, because those two steps right there are the most like meditation to get our mind prepared to be able to receive the rest of it. And then we come to the realization, which is like an affirmation. It's just a one-liner, two-liners at the most. And in the realization step, we are claiming our good for us in the now, as if we are already receiving that. So if I'm doing an affirmation for, say, abundance, I'm going to declare my truth. My favorite one is $10,000 that I now easily and effortlessly attain and maintain an income of $10,000 a month or more. I haven't attained it yet in this reality, but in my mind, it's already taken seed. It has already been planted in the soil. And by doing affirmations, which is what the realization step is, what I'm doing is I'm watering it and I'm providing it sunshine so it can grow. Does that make sense? So in the realization stage, if I'm saying, I want, say for instance, I'm manifesting love, right? I now easily and effortlessly attract to myself someone who shows me the value of myself, who shows me love, who I feel loved at this moment by. Or that's for attraction. If you're already in a relationship and you really want to experience more love, you can say in this realization step, I am now feeling the love of my partner and experiencing love at the deepest level, because I know that God is love and love is what I am, right? That's the kind of realization step I talk about. In terms of wellness, I do this all the time because of the Hashimoto's. So I will say in my realization step, I am now free to experience whatever exercise, whatever adventure I want to experience. And my body is free and comfortable, right? That's the kind of stuff you do in the realization step. Thanksgiving, I would love to change that to a G, but it doesn't work. Like, are you ready? Go receive. You know, it doesn't work. But it's the Thanksgiving step, and it's not about giving thanks to something outside of ourselves. Instead, it is very much experiencing that feeling of gratitude, because we all know thought is creative, right? Not every thought, thank God. We have something like 400 thoughts a minute. We wouldn't want them to all create, because, you know, then there'd be, I want that. No, I don't. I like that. No, I don't. Just imagine what your world would be like. There would be nothing that would seem in any way permanent, right? And so it's a good thing that every thought is not creative. What thoughts are creative are the ones we have a preponderance of our attention on. Dr. Ernest Holmes, our founder, said, what you focus your attention on, you create more of. So when we create from a place of gratitude, that feeling of gratitude that fuels the thoughts, the preponderance of your thoughts, and that's what actually does the creation, is that emotion fueling the preponderance of your thoughts. When we get into that sense of gratitude, we attract like a magnet good to ourselves. But also, in this case, when we are experiencing gratitude for what the words we have just spoken, we are in gratitude for that which we have just said is ours, right? And we're not going to pick it back up. We're not going to say, I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for that. I like to say, I am grateful that this is done. And in my case, to be of service in this way. Because my heart does fill with gratitude when I think about what I do and how I live my life, right? I live my life in such a way that others will want to know my God. And as long as I'm in service to others in my prayer and in my counseling and all of that, as long as I'm doing that, then I'm living my purpose. I'm living the purpose that God intended for me to live. So I'm grateful that I'm doing that. I'm grateful that I have an opportunity to do that. So that step of gratitude or thanksgiving is a one statement, really. And then at the very end, release is very important. I think of all the steps, it might be one of the most important, because when you plant a garden, you put that seed in the soil, you water it, you allow the sun to get on it, you do everything you can to nurture that plant, right? What if every 5 minutes you went and dug it up to see how far the seed had grown? But that's what we do with prayer, right? I've got my watch tuned to like, it's been 5 minutes, where's my manifestation? You know? The truth is, when we do a prayer, what we do is we release it into the universe for it to be acted upon, okay? We don't necessarily say that. We just say, I let go and let God, right? Because honestly, I've already set the intention. I've already created the mold that I want God to fill in with substance, right? So all I need to do is let go and let God. Doesn't mean that if it pops into your head later, you don't do another prayer. Please understand. But we are not focused on trying to force it into reality. We're not focused on why hasn't it manifested yet, or how do I get it to manifest, or what do I need to do to make it manifest? We're not going to do that kind of stuff, because we human doings are really funny that way. We focus our attention on that kind of stuff to the exclusion of what we really need to be doing, which is focusing on that, feeding that seed. Let's put it that way. We should be fertilizing that seed with our thought patterns. And so as we talk about this topic as first I plant the seed and then I let it grow, what we're basically saying is we're releasing it to Mother Nature to create that reality for us. So I let go and I let God. And we like to say, and so it is, in religious science. I say, and so it is, amen, here, because I know that some people really need that amen. That's what they're used to hearing in their other religion before they came here. And so I give both. I give the and so it is for those of us who've been raised in religious science like faith, and the amen for those who have been raised in other religions, because I do know that that is an important part of this. Okay, so that's prayer in a nutshell. So again, I go back to the resurrection of our spiritual practice. Community, as it has grown here since that very first sermon, has been an interesting journey because we have so many people from Europe who tune in to us later. We have people from the Netherlands, Holland, the UK, mostly England, and Germany. And so it's always fun to see when I go back and look later to see who stopped by. I think that our community, being a global community, serves its people really well, I think. I'm sure there's some things we could be doing better. I'm sure there's some getting together during the week kind of stuff we could do. But I think that as a general rule, we are providing something, a place for people to go to, even if it's not a physical facility. We're providing a place for people to go where they know they can find spiritual community. And that's really our aim. And so that is the first premise of resurrecting your spiritual practice that I talked about. In the very beginning, it was getting together at, 8 o'clock at night when everybody would honk. And, we were trying to create a community where we could get together and do chatting and that kind of thing. That didn't manifest like we wanted it to, which is fine. It wasn't a need that we were fulfilling, apparently, so it didn't take off. But I'm just here to serve the needs, so it doesn't matter to me whether we do or we don't. But now it's become more of just recognizing there is a place where we can go online and get our spiritual food and our feeling of community, and that's what happens now. The second premise of resurrecting your spiritual practice is what I was talking about, was meditation. Knowing that we can meditate anywhere at any time other than driving. I do know that Ram Dass had this experience in a Buddhist temple where he felt like he could meditate so well there. And he was trying to decide if he was fooling himself about the meditation. And he said, if my practice is really that good, I should be able to not just sit in a temple, but to go out to the streets of New York City and sit on a street corner and be able to meditate there. So to prove it to himself, he did just that. And he was able to meditate. So I say to you, anywhere you want to meditate except for driving a car, I'm on board. I do meditation everywhere, anywhere and everywhere. My favorite is on my porch in the summertime, where I enjoy my flowers and my trees and all the animals. And we just have a good time out in the weather. My second favorite in the wintertime, obviously it's my favorite, is to fill my bathtub with hot water and Epsom salts. Not that that matters, but turn off the lights, light a candle, and focus my attention on that relationship I have with my God. Because in truth, meditation does two things. One, it trains your mind to focus on something, anything. You can do a phrase, you can do an object, that's why those intention jars and the intention candles and all of that are so powerful, because it gives you a focal point where you can train your mind to focus on that thing, and it assists you in that process. But So the first thing that it does is it helps focus your mind, get the monkey mind handled. You know, the one that says, I haven't gotten this done, I haven't gotten that done, I need to do this, I need to do that. That monkey mind, right? It turns that monkey mind off and unless it assists you in focusing on a particular thing. Hopefully what you want. That's what we want your focus to be. The second thing it does is you cultivate a relationship with that inner presence that is within you. Whether you call that universe or great spirit, or you call it God or Allah or whatever you call it, you are cultivating a relationship with that. So the more you sit in meditation, the more evident that presence is in your life. Not that it wasn't always there anyway. It's just that sometimes we have a harder time recognizing that it is there. During the 9/11 thing, you know, our practitioners did such a good job of jumping to center, is what we like to call it. Meaning that I can move from an emergency, I can move from an awareness of this terrible thing that's happening in the world, and I can move right into that spot where I know the presence of God. And it takes practice to do that, and meditation is that practice. And then, of course, the third tenet is through prayer. And as I've explained, we call it spiritual mind treatment because we are treating our mind to vibrate at the same frequency that God vibrates, especially on whatever that condition is. So I invite you this week to do that with me. Hi, Fred, Kathy, Marlene, and Joey. I invite you to do that with me this week, to spend some time, even if it's 5 minutes a day, in meditation. Reach out here to your spiritual community to find community where you can be accepted as you are. And start praying abundance or love or health or all three. That'd be fine with me. Remember, you're not praying for something. We're not praying from a place of lack. We're praying it, knowing that we are already that, and we want to outpicture in the physical universe that manifestation of what we already are. Can you do that with me this week? Let's have a prayer. Right now, I just turn my awareness to the infinite power, the infinite presence of God, to that place within me that knows beyond human understanding just how powerful that is, how amazing that is. One life, one power, one love, one being, simply one. As I tune into that, I understand that it is who and what I am, my very essence, my very life, my very being. It is who and what I am. And every thought, every action, every deed is guided and led by that ancient wisdom of the ages that flows through me so perfectly, as it flows through all of life. I just celebrate my perfect union with that. In that. I know that same truth to be so for this wonderful team that God has provided me, for Lynn and for Faith and for Tina and for Oz and for Karen and for Elaine. We are one in that infinite power, that infinite presence of God. It is who and what we are. And we are connected by it, through it, as it. And every thought, every action, every deed is truly guided and led by that ancient wisdom of the ages that flows through us. It's the one team. I know that same truth to be so for each person listening today, whether that be in real time or later on. For we are all one power, one presence, one life, one love that flows through us equally, unimpeded. There is no place where one leaves off and the other begins, for there is only the one. Mitaku Asen. All my brethren, we are one. We are related. So I bless this coming week because I know that the influence and the power of God flows through our very lives so perfectly. I know that as we focus our attention on that which we are creating in this moment, we fertilize that seed, we flower that experience. As we do our meditation and our prayer, we just invite that creative process to begin. And it is so perfect in its process. I know as we recognize our community here as the community that matters to us, because it is a spiritual connection we don't get anywhere else. As we recognize that, we flow into that experience of God more fully. So I bless this week with all of that awareness and more, with manifestations that light up the heart and the mind, that soothe the spirit and calm the soul. I know that every name in the ministry of prayer today is blessed with that same experience. And no matter what condition they may be experiencing, God is the answer. And it underlies all of that. So right now, I just pull back the veil and I reveal that truth here and now as their experience. I claim it for them in their name as good and very good. And I just let it be, knowing full well it is done. So my heart fills with gratitude to let this be, to experience that level of service that God has granted me the privilege of serving. Gratitude just fills my heart, my soul, my mind, and powers my very world. And I just let it be. And so it is. Wow, I really went out there that time. Hard to come back sometimes. Especially to come back to talk about money. There's just something wrong with that, Faith. I don't know. We may have to rework the service to like have music at the end of that. All right. Right now is our opportunity to receive your gifts, tithes, and offerings, and your opportunity to give thanks for that which you have already received in the physical realm, and that which you have already created in the mind of God, but may not necessarily have received in the physical realm yet. So in a minute, I'm going to have you go to www.oasiscsl.org. And about 2/3 down the page is an offering affirmation I'm going to have you say with me, whether that's in real time or later on. You know, if you're viewing this later on, that's fine. Anyway, we're going to say that offering affirmation together. And then underneath that is the Contribute Now button. And let me just talk a little bit about what you're contributing to. We don't have a facility, so you're not paying for rent or utilities or anything like that. All the usual expenses that come along with a facility. So what you're contributing to is that global message getting out into the world. Yes, we have people in Europe who are watching us. We would like to increase that audience, but also build on that audience to other countries where they can understand English, or even if they can get it interpreted. I'm good with that. I don't care. I just want God's message to get out into the world and really do something, right? And unfortunately, it takes money to market that. So that's what you're contributing to. So please, whether you are watching in real time or later on, say this offering affirmation with me right now. This perfect gift is spirit and form, circulating and blessing all it touches. Freely I give and joyously I receive. And so it is. Hit that Contribute Now button. And help us get this message out into the world. God's message. All right, we have this wonderful team of licensed practitioners from coast to coast. that make up what we call the God Squad. They're the healing arm of the church, and they spend at least 3 years, if not 4 years, to get licensed. And once they're licensed, they're your best spiritual friend, really. You can go to see them, and they will see the spiritual truth for you until you're able to see it for yourself. They will walk you through. They do guidance. They can do spiritual guidance for you by appointment for a fee. So reach out to them either by the website or Facebook, and let them know that you would like to have a session, and they'll figure out how to pay for that, how you pay for that, whether that's by PayPal or Cash App or Venmo or Wise is another one. I don't get involved in that. Each practitioner has their own practice, and so they determine what their payment method is going to be. Anyway, you'll pay for the session, and then they will reach out to you by video chat at the appointed time. In the meantime, Oz is available for what we call our 1-minute miracle after the service. It's not a time for counseling, but it is a time where you can let him know what issues you are experiencing, and he will stop, drop, and pray with you right then and there. And you can reach him through video chat through Facebook. Okay, so if you would like prayer for something, please put it in the comments section, and we will pray on those requests every day for a week. The God Squad will. Me and the God Squad, I should say. I'm part of the God Squad. I don't know why I have to say it that way, but all of the licensed practitioners that are on that will pray every day for a week on whatever issue, challenge you are having. And if you would like to be part of our greater spiritual community, our online community, type more in the comment section, and there we'll add you to our, the prayer requests get added to a private group page on Facebook, and the online community gets added to our public facing group page on Facebook. So you can chat amongst yourselves. You can get information about what we're doing. I always publish it there before I publish it everywhere, so that the people who are part of our online community get it first. But it's a way of building community as well, or participating in community. All right, let me talk a little bit about Brooks and Bailey. We like to support those who support us. So we always like to make sure that we honor people who have supported this church. One of those is Brooks and Bailey. This is a mala bead necklace in amethyst. It's beautiful. This one is $60. They do have other ones starting at $30 and going up. So depending on what gemstone you want them to do, that's how much it's going to cost you. Anyway, Brooks and Bailey can be found by going to, or emailing, I should say, brooksandbailey0307@gmail.com. They also have a Facebook page, and all the proceeds go to Rocky Mountain Lab Rescue, which is a really worthy charity for those proceeds to go to. Everything is really well made. I have a bracelet from them that it's only slipped off my wrist once, and I've had it 3 years. Normally bracelets slip off my wrist immediately and I lose them. I haven't lost this one, knock on wood, because it doesn't slip off my wrist. It has this like little circle with a bar that goes through it and then hooks through, and for some reason it keeps on my wrist a lot better. The mala bead necklaces have 104 beads on them, or 108, sorry. And the bracelets have 54. So it's a great way to keep track of your affirmations. The Buddhists and the Hindus go one bead at a time as they do their mantra. And I suggest you do that with your affirmations. It's a great way to make sure you get in 100 affirmations a day, which really is what it takes to get those grooves in the brain going. All right, let's see. I stopped it. I put that other page in front of it. You would think I would know these by heart by now. Okay, here's Faith.
And please check out my metaphysical shop. The website no longer works. However, you can still order through Instagram and Facebook by DMing us, and we can figure that out from there. Prices are on Facebook, and we have intention jars and bath salts to help manifest whatever you are currently working on. We are also trying to add a new element to the Mystic Brew. And thank you all so much for being patient while we tried to do that with the memorial and everything we got behind. So we are aiming for the next 3 weeks. So definitely follow us and make sure that you get the update on what that new thing will be.
Okay. Thank you. All right. And then we have candles and tea bags from Angel Renee. The tea bags are great. They're intention tea bags, and that you stick them in the bath with you. And the herbs that she has used are specifically designed to help you focus on your intention. So it's a great way to do that. Excuse me. All that crying has really got me. All right, so let's see what else. I just realized I can do it from the comments that you posted. Then I don't have to look at my sheet. Check out Reverend Fairy Elaine Silver's website. She travels around the country singing and carries her CDs in the trunk of her car. Her website, for some reason, she can't update to do a form of payment. And she created that website long before there was such things as payment portals. So I think PayPal was the only payment portal back then. Anyway, she can't update the website for some reason. And so go onto the website, try to find a CD that you like, or find a CD that you like. Let her know by email that you want that CD. She'll tell you how to pay for it. And she's really good about sending them out the very next day. She is awesome at doing all of that. So we use a lot of her music, and I know you love her music. So, and like I said, we support those who support us. Elaine has provided us a bunch of CDs. So, and then check out Karen Drucker's website as well. Hers does work. You can go ahead and pay for it. You can buy it by the song, or the CD, or the songbook, karaoke files. Some of the songs in the songbook have American Sign Language too. So she has gifted us with her entire collection of 20 CDs, which was awesome because we couldn't do music without her. So we are really blessed. So go support her. I really love Karen. She really works hard for religious science churches everywhere. So we appreciate her so much. And then check out our website, oasiscsl.org. There you're going to find pictures of picnics and things like that, events that we've had at the church, so you can get to know who our spiritual community is. There's also video sermons of the last 3 years and audio sermons from years prior. And we are a little bit behind on updating the webpage. I finally got YouTube straightened out. I finally am current with YouTube. And that is under S. Tucker. That's where the video sermons are for the last 3 years. And then we upload them to the website from there. And also you can find us on SoundCloud under S. Tucker for the audio sermons from years prior. So definitely check all of that out. Find out about our practitioners. We're going to be like I said, it's out of date. One of the visiting practitioners said to me, you know, that was like 2018 that you posted that newsletter. And I'm like, really? Oh, dear. So we're going to be starting a program for practitioners and ministers to write something every month. So I'll be reaching out to everybody to ask them to do these things. Maybe take a month each, something like that. Anyway. But check out our website, check out YouTube and SoundCloud if you would like to listen to more of our Sunday sermons. And definitely, I want to mention something real quick while we're on the announcements. I don't know if you can see this. My friend Cindy Koch and a supporter of our Sunday services made this for me and brought it to the memorial and put it around my neck. So it's a bird. It's made with resin, I believe. But it has purple and green and then a little gold bird. I don't know if you can see the little gold bird. It's very wonderful, and I just wanted to thank her. She's not on today, unfortunately, but hopefully she'll come back later and watch this, and she'll know that I pointed that out. Thank you very much. Okay. Right now, we're going to go to our closing song, and then Oz will pray us out. I know I'm going to get my groove back eventually here.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
And I know that in this moment, as we sit in the being of God. It's in us, as us, through us, all around us, and forevermore. For God is everything and everywhere. There is no place where God is not. God is here right now and through the week. And in each of us, we go forth into the adventure that God is preparing for us. I know we steer our boats into the most pleasurable zones possible as this occurs. I know this is good and very good, and I let it be so, and so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Oz. So I want to thank you for joining us today. I know there's 1,000 things you could be doing on a Sunday morning. We're really blessed that you were here with us as well. I know Joey in the ethers is watching as well, so love you, girl. Miss you. So join us this next week and every week at 10:30 a.m. Mountain Time. We're going to be doing visioning next week, and we're going to do metaphysical Passover the week after that. Thank you so much, Tina, for being here. We appreciate you. And until next week, stay safe, wear a mask. I'll see you. Love you.